Well, welcome back. So, sorry for delay with this thing about, coronavirus and Brexit. It just makes super hard to get stuff shipped over here to review. So, but rant aside, what I have for you guys today is the HellBeast RDA. If you guys recall, or if you've seen some of my previous videos, if not, go and check. I made a review of the HellBeast hybrid tank, which is a tank that allowed you to put several like coils, so you could do a mouth-to-lung configuration or a straight-to-lung configuration. Loved it, and now HellVape released the HellBeast RDA, and it took forever for this thing to arrive here, over a month. So let's set it all up and see how this goes. And here it is, the HellBeast RDA from HellVape. Not to be confused with the HellBeast tank that I've reviewed on a previous video, but let's open the box and see how it looks. A little orangey reddish box, and we got here the RDA itself, which we're going to put here on the side, the little box of goodies, which we're going to check in a bit. And what's this? Just so we got stickers. This is going to straight into the computer, and the instruction manual that we never read. Alright, so put this on the side. Now, the box of goodies. Let's open it up. Now, when it comes down to HellVape, you can say whatever you want, but they always deliver their devices with coils and cotton. So it's basically like a vaping version of plug and play, which is really good, because the last thing you want to do is get like a brand new device and then you realize that you either don't have coils or cotton. So you actually got it here, which is not that bad. They offer also the little O-rings, the squonk pin, which we're gonna have to change in a bit, and some complementary screws. And here you have something that's become more of a trend nowadays, which is a little cutting platform. This is to measure the distance of the size of the coils when you want to cut, either for 5mm or 7mm. You got a little screwdriver, and you got your little Allen key. This is to remove the squonk pin. Alright, so this is how it looks. As you can see, this is the gunmetal version. Really pretty. You got the HellBeast here on the side. You got here the airflow slots, which we're gonna go into detail in a bit. You got the mouthpiece, which not a huge fan of the colors. I quite plasticky, but it's actually doesn't look bad, but it's just a personal preference. And you got here, not sure if you guys can see it. It says HellVape, and you got a little squonk pin, and that's not squonk pin. This is the normal pin, and then we're gonna replace it with the squonk pin. Now opening it up. Oh, by the way, as you can see, this little gap here, this is literally like that. So don't be surprised that it kind of gives you the impression that it's not fully flushed, but this is how it actually is. You have this gap. The airflows, it's actually, you have this really large honeycomb kind of airflow. This actually rotates really well for something that came just out of the box. Usually they tend to be really stuck. So you got here the bottom lines, and you got here like 2 lines, and you got here 3 lines. Of course, whatever you set up on this side, you also get on this side. Now, disassembling this, you just literally pull this out. As you can see, the top bit, you got your O-ring here, you got all the holes for the airflow, but as you can see, it's actually quite beefy. It's quite thick. It's got thick walls, so it must be good at hopefully dissipating heat. So let's see if it doesn't heat up too much. Then here you just press it out. You got your little standard body, and this is the deck post. They're quite tall, and they're actually quite large holes, which means that you can actually put really beefy coils into it, which again they've also provided. So when squonking, I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see. There you go. There's this little hole here. This is where the liquid will come out, and most likely where it will return as well. Which actually, if you notice, there's a little. Let's see if you can get the angle right. There you go. So from the hole to the bottom of the well in the RDA is actually quite a big difference. I would say like what, 1mm, 2mm. So you will always have some liquid standing around if your cotton is already like soaked. So you need to make sure that when you flip it, it's not going to just leak away, because it will not return to the actual ports in terms of squonking. Same thing when you're not squonking, you can rip away, it creates this little level, which is not that bad, because let's be realistic. From the moment you have this, the distance from the bottom of the well up to the airflow, it's a lot. So you can literally just squonk it away, or you can just like drip the liquid away, that it just won't leak a lot. A lot of RDAs have the distance between the airflows and the bottom of the well quite small, so at the minimum tilt it will just leak away, and you don't get this with this. So what we're gonna do first is open this little bag of goodies and take off our squonk pin, because we're gonna be using this as a squonk. I've never been a dripper. Eventually, if I do get one of those Mac mods like pen style, I might go for it, but I've always liked the convenience of squonking. So this is pretty straightforward. You literally just put this in and give it a little whack, and the pin comes out. When the pin comes out, actually, there you go, the post base actually comes out as well. And as you can see, these terminals are the ones connected to the post, so it does the current. Everything else is connected to the actual body of it. Not a lot of devices do that. So now let's just put this here, or maybe actually it doesn't matter which way you put it, it's not gonna impact the layout of it, which is nice because you don't want to screw this up. So you're gonna put your squonk pin and you just tighten it up, and it's good to go. So there you go, pretty straightforward. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to get the coils in, we're going to prep them, we're going to cut them, and we're going to put some liquid on this, and then we're going to give it a try. Now again, with the ease of access, they even gave us the shoelace type cotton, which is not that bad. So beforehand, you usually have to, you know, get your coil inside to see the measurements, how you're going to cut and stuff, but nowadays they actually offer you this little 7mm or a 5mm cut. I think I'm going to go with 7mm. A little bit longer, just to see how this goes. I've never used one of these things. I have like 3 or 4 of them, but I have to admit that sometimes it actually comes in handy. Would you look at that? One thing that I would have preferred if it was like Phillips type screws, because the ones they offer you as replacement are also normal screwdriver, normal like flathead. So these ones might strip over time, hopefully not. So we're just gonna open this up, put our coil in. Now one thing we need to notice is that they actually, once you unscrew these, this is something I didn't know, the posts are actually not open. You can see the bottom of it. Most of the devices, it goes all the way across. These ones doesn't, so there's actually an end to it. So if you put it, this is how tall it's gonna go. So it's gonna be really tall. So let's put this on. Now they're a little bit more flush. Tighten a bit. Tighten a bit. This is like a drop style deck. It's just literally just drop them in and that's it. It's nice that because the posts are not even, the coils don't twist, it just goes straight up aligned. This is basically a device for noobs. Look at this. Aligned, everything nice, just not a problem whatsoever. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to measure the wattage on this. Okay. So now we're going to be doing the complementary heating up. So I am using again my trusted Vendy Vape Pulse BF80. I'm gonna put this up at 30 watts. So by looking at these coils, I might see that these are beefy coils, so it's going to be one of these devices that you want to have vaping at a higher wattage. I just need to pull this up a little bit. And from the color change, you can see that these are nichrome. There you go. Really nice color, and once they cool down, they get this distinctive bluish color as all nichrome coils have. Now we're going to wait just a couple of seconds for this to cool down. We're going to put the cotton in, cut it away, and then we already have on my Squonk my all-time favorite Barista Brew white chocolate mocha. The day that they stop making these things, I am going to have a meltdown. So let's give it away. This is just pretty straightforward. Look at this. Again, this is like basically a device made for noobs. You cannot get this wrong. Again, you just go in, get it right in. A trick you can actually do is, if you have like cotton bacon type of cotton, you can actually just grab some sellotape, and you can actually make these ends, and then you always end up having for the right measurement. Okay, let's cut this here, and let's cut this one. Put it in. All right, there we go. So now what you can do is you can either squonk it out. See if you can get the squonk. As you can see, it goes quite high. You need to like proper squonk this for it to leak. So, and also it doesn't kill anyone if you just prime the coils from the top. Just soak this all up. Okay. As you can see, there's always going to be a little bit of liquid on the inside, because as I mentioned, the hole is a little bit higher. The return hole is a little bit higher. So, alright, let's put this in, and then when you rotate it, it goes all the way down to the side. There you go. So, alright, so put again, some little liquid on the O-ring. Put it on, and we're good to go. Okay, moment of truth. So I'm gonna be vaping this at 60 watts, and let's see how this goes. Oh, by the way, full airflow. Nice, really smooth, really smooth. Can't fault it at 60 watts, which is what I used to do as average. Sometimes I go to 80 if it's like a really beefy coil, or if it goes like a super beefy coil, like a custom made one, I'll just put my Geek Vape on, and because it goes up to 200 watts. But with this one, can't complain. 60 watts is actually really good with full airflow. So what we're going to do is we're going to close airflow. To close the airflow on this one is actually from the top. You just rotate the top instead of actually rotating the body, which is a really nice feature. So let's just close the top line on the actual airflow, and so we only have like 2 lines now. Let's see how this goes. Still smooth, still really smooth. The device is not hot at all. Because it's really tall, it allows like for a proper airflow, so you don't feel that much hot. You feel that it's a smooth, not too hot vape, but you still feel a little bit warm, which is not bad at all. So now we're gonna risk it, and we're gonna go 1 line of airflow only, which is the minimum. I don't think this goes for a close on. No, it doesn't go full close. So let's go. Still good, and as you can see, with a closed airflow, you still make a really decent cloud. Although I do prefer full open, or even 2 lines. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for. Now let's try a higher wattage. Let's go for 80 watts, maximum of that this device can go. All right, still smooth, still nice. And it doesn't kill the flavor at all. So the flavor I'm getting is literally as if you were like tasting it from the bottle. So top notch onto that one. So yeah, and overall, this now is going to be my preferred RDA for squonking. I really enjoy it, and I'm going to abuse the shit out of this and see how it goes. The mouthpiece isn't that inconvenient, so can't actually complain. So now, pros and cons. A lot of pros. The top, like the really tall well, the fact that it's a really tall device with airflow sitting tall as well. It doesn't make a hot vape at all. It's quite forgiving, even like if you allow the liquid to stand a little bit, like you need to incline it a lot for it to drip. And even like that, as you can see, it's not dripping at all. So unless you like squonk it like crazy, but again, the wall is really tall, so you can squonk it like crazy. That I just went all the way up and it still hasn't, like, you know, dripped. And now if I put it here on the side, see, now it's dripping. Alright, that is because the return well is not flush with the foam. Most of them have like a bottom return, but even so, can't complain. Cons would be that return well and the fact that the posts are not straight through, that you can just drop the coil in. So you have to have either a 5mm length coil or a 7mm length coil. That to me is a big disappointment. But let's be realistic. How many of you actually go for super tall coils? And also, if you do have like a system that allows you to go straight through, then you always have to go with your pliers and be all finicky and trying to cut it underneath. And if you're not careful, there's always going to be the case that a little bit of the coil of metal will fall into the bottom of the deck, will short circuit, and if you have a Mac mod, it's gonna, you know, you're not gonna like the experience. So all in all, I wouldn't say it's like a deal breaker. So for me, this if I had to give it like from a 0 to 10 review, I would give it a solid 9. I really like this mod. I really like this tank. Just amazing. So either way, this is all I have for you guys today. So don't forget to click like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, the whole shebang, and I shall see you all next week. Take care.